in this New Year's episode, which is also our 200th Banking with Life episode, Jake and I looked back on the milestones and achievements of 2023, and we discussed what 2024 might bring, including New Year's resolutions and encouragements. We had fun and hope you enjoy listening. Thank you. Welcome to the Banking with Life podcast. I'm your host, James Neathery, and today I have my young son, Jake, with us.
Well, hello. How are you guys doing?
So Jake's an integral part of the office. You know, he's an illustration ninja, IBC coach, an authorized practitioner, speaks with the majority of our clients from beginning to end. Very, very knowledgeable young man. Very, very proud of you, sir.
Well, thank you, sir.
Thanks for hanging out. Look, this is a New Year's episode, and I was informed last week or so that this is the 200th episode of Banking with Life.
That's amazing. It's crazy. 200 episodes.
That's a big deal.
It's a huge deal, man.
To me. I mean, especially when it's more or less long form, you know. But before we really get into the, the New Year's, I want to talk about our Christmas card. All right, it'll probably go up in the graphics. You know, we send a Christmas card to our friends and clients every year. We've probably done so for
a decade.
At least 10 years.
Yeah.
And we have fun with it, you know. We really do have fun with it. And this year, I hope if you received one, and I wish everyone, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. But if you received one, I hope you could tell it was meant to be the cover of a magazine, you know.
I thought it was a great shoot. I mean, it really does look like a cover of a magazine.
I really like it. I spoke with a couple of older clients who said, no, they didn't get that. James, you're going to have to work harder.
What do they think that was?
I don't know, just a Christmas card. But I've spoke to other clients who are like, oh, yeah, we got that right off. But we did a little something different this year on the Christmas card. There is a QR code down in the lower left. It, says click me somewhere, I think, or scan me. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't really thinking about it. I knew that we had talked about it, and I knew that AV Ninjas are very creative, and I didn't scan it until I received it at home. And my lovely wife, Jana, and I, your mama, we were like, oh, look, there's a Christmas card. And we scanned it, right? She scanned it on her phone. I scanned it on mine. And it's pretty dang cool. If you scan that QR code, it goes to a page on the website that's otherwise hidden, and it gives you a bunch of the background photos, and then I think even the last 4 or 5 Christmas episodes are on there. I had fun with it.
It's pretty cool.
And I'll say this and move on about the QR code. There's, and we did talk about this, right? There's numbers down there across the bottom of that QR code. And the first numbers are 1931. The significance of that was the year Nelson was born. Nelson Nash, our Nelson Nash. And we're talking about the infinite banking concept. He was the discoverer, the creator of the concept. So Becoming Your Own Banker was his first book. Building a Warehouse of Wealth was his second book. And you should own them, in my opinion, if you have any interest in the infinite banking concept. And then while I'm there, he also has a 6.5-hour DVD set that's available, the old plastic form where you plug into your game box, or you can purchase digital access to himself, Nelson Nash himself, presenting a 6.5-hour seminar on the infinite banking concept. And so if you have any interest, or if you want to speak intelligently about the infinite banking concept, you cannot do so without consuming those first works, in my humble opinion.
Yep. Everybody needs to watch the 6-hour event that he did.
I agree.
And here's the thing. If you've seen another version of it or seen it, some sort of, live, if you see like a live version of it somewhere else, it's like every time you watch a version of Nelson Nash, he does things completely differently than he did like the first time, second time, third time. And there's just always something to pick up on it. So watch it many times. Yeah, one reading of either book, both books, is really not sufficient, and one viewing of that video is not sufficient. Mm-hmm. So I agree. Go back. I know I learn something every time
that I heard him speak. I mean, I have years of notes on a yellow legal pad, you know. But continuing on the numbers, the next set of numbers is 1981. That's when I received my permanent life insurance license in Texas.
I did not know that.
I'm not even that old. I know.
I am definitely not that old.
Yeah. And then 1991 is the next series of numbers there. And so 1991, what would be the significance of that?
The years I was born.
No, wait, I'm wrong. No, I'm wrong. 1981 is I'm sorry, forgive me. So 1981, of course I wasn't, I don't even think I was out of high school. 1981 is when Nelson really discovered this idea. And there's an Easter egg thanks to a client of ours out of Florida, the watchmaker Ashley. He pointed out in our last event, the cover of the Becoming Your Own Banker book, the 5th edition. And he asked Ryan and I think you and David, Nelson Nash's son-in-law, what is the significance on the dial on the cover of Becoming Your Own Banker? All right. And that really kind of is where this kind of the genesis of these little Easter eggs on this particular Christmas card and QR code came from. So 1981 is when Nelson Nash discovered the infinite banking concept. 1991, the next set of numbers, is when I became a licensed life insurance agent and knew nothing about the infinite banking concept until 14 years later. What does that tell you? And I'm trying to be a student.
They don't teach agents anything.
Oh,
just saying. Like,
who's they?
Anyone, whether it's life insurance companies, whether it's the state regulatory commissions, whatever it happens to be, nobody teaches life insurance agents. You have to go. If you're an agent, you have to go teach yourself.
Yeah, you don't quit digging, don't quit looking. Just keep digging, keep looking. Right.
I've always wondered about that too, because I feel like with agents, they barely go over, product training when it comes to the companies themselves, much less, different ideas on how to use life insurance.
Nobody in the life insurance industry has ever taught the banking function. And, we've done podcasts on this episode or this channel about the top 50 financial planning, personal planning, retirement planning books. And then all of the designations associated with the financial industry, none of them teach the banking function. Not a single one, right? So how would a new agent discover it?
Happenstance and dumb luck.
Right. That's about how I discovered it. I think I went to a 2-day seminar with a bunch of speakers and best practices, and all of the speakers, and not all of them, but a lot of them referenced books. And one guy, referenced the Becoming Your Own Banker book. And so I bought all the books and took them home. And but that was after 14 years in the life insurance business. And I'm actively trying to learn, the financial industry, life insurance, and, to be a good student. So don't quit digging is my encouragement.
Yeah. The
industry is not going to teach you how to properly control the banking function. Now, they'll create all kinds of products, right? They want to be all things to all people. And all of that's created just a whole different level of problems, in my opinion, my humble opinion. Yep. And as a side note, I take my opinion everywhere I go. Okay. I'm just, all right. The next set of numbers is 2000. And that's when Nelson Nash published Becoming Your Own Banker. So I'll get off the Christmas card. Obviously, I'm very proud of it. However, there is an egg in there. And the egg is also in every episode of this podcast.
An Easter egg.
Yeah, an Easter egg. Yeah. That's
crazy. I love it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for letting me go through that. So we kind of put together an agenda of things we might talk about today. So where do we go from here, Mr. Neathery?
I think we should be starting by looking back at 2023. We'll start looking back at 2023, some milestones, some accomplishments, some of the events that took place that were, big and things that we should consider. And then we should look at 2024, the upcoming new year.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at some of the milestones then for 2023.
And we got some big ones this year. Do you want to start like with the podcast, 10,000 subscribers? That's huge.
Yeah. Organic, unpurchased, sometimes shadow banned, depending on the guest that we have.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of that number, 10,000 subscribers. That's a big deal. There's a little over 10,000. I think we hit 10,000 early this year. Mm-hmm. And growing, so thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, do whatever it takes to subscribe. I think that you can unsubscribe at any time, right? So listen, if you want to learn about the infinite banking concept and beyond just illustrations and, how to finance things, which is absolutely one thing that you can do to become your own banker, you're financing, right? That's all implied and factual. But to get to some of the nuances that exist in the life insurance industry and the infinite banking concept, I think it's worth several listens. I think you should subscribe and listen. That's my encouragement. So this is the 200th episode.
200 episodes right here, right now.
That's huge.
Yeah.
For long form content. Well,
I mean, we have some numbers here about your videos too. I mean, I have 570 videos. 570 videos. 400 of them are mostly long, like content, form. There's about 100 shorts that we have that are out there on the channel, but 470 videos that you can watch, ranging from 30 minutes to almost 2 hours long.
Some of them went kind of long, and we've had a lot of pushback or some pushback for the length. And if you were to ask me to describe the infinite banking concept, I don't have an elevator pitch. I can't get it done in 30 seconds. Nelson said he could barely get it done in 10 hours. So, man, if you're looking for a 30-second, 1 minute clip, it's not here.
Yeah, right.
Other than the shorts, but the shorts just lead you to the channel of free content. I mean, those are free.
Yeah,
those are free. That doesn't include the videos that we have available in the client only access.
Does not include those.
Justin, do you know how many videos about that we might have in the client only access?
Maybe like 20-ish, 20 maybe.
How many?
Another 20 plus videos.
Another 20 plus.
Yeah.
So now we're banging around 500.
Yeah. Well, no, total 600.
Oh, 570. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
a lot of videos.
Good job, Banking with Life team. Good job, ninjas.
Well, I mean, so we talk about those videos, 570 videos, 100, shorts. There's over 352 hours of content on your channel. 352 hours. That's 14 and a half days. 14 and a half days worth of content. Like, good luck consuming it, guys. Enjoy.
Talking about life insurance. Oh my gosh.
Hey, enjoy. Eat it up. This is good stuff.
Now that's, when for me, when I'm told, how many videos and how many views, and I mean, I'm a little impressed, I'm a humble guy, but I mean, that's a dang lot of work is what that is.
That's right.
So what other kind of statistics do we have on that?
There's the big one.
The big one.
Yeah. I'll let you go ahead and say the big one.
Are you talking about the billion in force?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think I've talked about that before, but
that's big. That's huge.
And so what he's referencing is we have over $1 billion of death benefit in force. And here we're solving for the banking function. All right, keep that in mind. Of course, it's pre-2022 as well, which just means on whole life you buy lesser death benefit for the same premium comparatively prior to 2022. I don't care who you are, unless you're in the government, $1 billion's a big number. It is to me.
It's very difficult to truly wrap my mind around $1 billion. Like 100 million is hard to wrap my mind around, much less $1 billion. $1 billion.
In force. So that implies it may imply that there's an element of legitimate service behind that. Now, I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I have, my life insurance through this office. I know you do as well. it's at the end of the day, I mean, we practice what we preach. This isn't like, something that, we're talking about because it's cool or it's hip or it's fad right now. No, I mean, we believe in this. We practice it. We walk this.
Yeah. I think everyone in the office that has been here for any length of time that is insurable, I think they practice, which, rightly so. We're all somewhere on the spectrum of beginning, fixing to put our, thinking about putting our hand to the plow, or, have done it for a long time. I know I think I met Nelson in 2004, 2005, and the first thing I did was go home straight away and redo all my life insurance. So that's a long time. 19 years. That's a long time. And it works. All right. Whenever you can control the banking function in your life and understand what that means to you and your family, it's a paradigm shift. It's life changing. And I say it again because it's true. I think my credit score is fairly okay. I mean, they don't let you, everybody's continually sticking things in front of you that you may or may not be interested in, But at the end of the day, I could care less what my credit score is.
Right.
I mean, it's like, you're going to tattoo a number on me. Do I need to roll up my sleeve to have you do that? Banking system. It's the same with interest rates. Here we are in a rising interest rate environment. This will be released in, New Year's episode in 2024. We're in a rising interest rate environment, and you can't control that. Neither can I. And at the end of the day, I don't care. I can't control it. I have access to capital on demand. And I'm not going to the bank with a hat in my hand and saying, hey, will you look at my deal and tell me if it's okay or good enough for you to lend me money, and you want to over collateralize the money that doesn't exist that you want to lend me, and I got to pay interest on money that doesn't. When you think the whole banking process through, it is beyond criminal. Nelson said it's evil, and it truly is, my opinion. Right. And I'm not talking about the local banker, the regional bank, the community bank, the state banks, or even the national banks. They're part of the cabal, in my opinion. But I'm not saying that those people that participate in that are evil. The higher up you go toward the top, the closer to the, evil it is.
That's where the swamp is. That's where the sewer is at.
Oh my gosh, it's an incestuous cesspool.
Yep.
And banking is just part of that cesspool. Anyway.
I was thinking about that, Dad, just kind of going over that. When is a bad time to buy life insurance? Just like when everything's going wrong, is that a bad time to buy life insurance? Like when is a bad time to buy life insurance? I always hear this is not a great time to buy stocks, or this is not a great time to buy in, any real estate, or buy a house. It's just not the right time. I've never heard this is the bad time to buy whole life insurance.
That's a fair question. I don't believe there is a bad time. There's a wrong time to try. Just because you want to buy life insurance doesn't mean you can buy it.
Right.
Right. So you've got to be healthy to qualify for it. And it's got to be suitable. So you have to be financially able to pay premiums. All that has to make sense. Life insurance is heavily regulated. But I don't believe there is I don't know of a bad time.
Yeah.
It's like, and I say it all the time because it's true. The problem is the problem. Interest rates are up, interest rates are down, stock market's up, stock market's down. I got laid off. I'm in transition. I just retired. I'm going to retire. The problem is the problem. Mm-hmm. All right. The premium is the solution. And, and it's like, okay, well, James, you're just a life insurance salesman. You're just trying to get paid. Well, you can pigeonhole me if you'd like, but capital is the problem. Lack of capital
there you go.
Or lack of access, or both. Lack of capital, lack of access to capital is the problem. So how do you solve that? In my opinion, the best way to solve that is through dividend-paying whole life insurance issued by a mutual company structured properly, which means for you and your duration, however old you are, right? And the future is unknown. I know that's broad, properly structured. But the cash value comes from premium, just like everything else in a life insurance policy. It all starts when somebody pays a premium. If I pay a premium, I have cash value. That's capital. So premium is the solution. And I really don't know when a bad time to buy life insurance is. I don't.
Yeah. Historically speaking, I don't know if there ever has been a bad time to buy life insurance.
I don't either. It's a good question. And you can get rid of, you can cancel, you can surrender the policy at any time. You can get mad and quit at any time. Mm-hmm. You are not promised ever. The future is not promised, right, at all. And so there's no guarantee that you can buy life insurance until you buy it. And then it's done. And then it's a matter of time before you cannot buy life insurance. You're going to age out of the process. Mm-hmm. As you age, your health changes, right? And I think that's important. If I can buy it at any time and I can get mad and quit at any time, when is the right time? Whenever I have the ability to wrap my mind around the power of dividend paying whole life insurance and I understand the banking concept, that's the right time, right then.
Yeah.
So,
and I know Nelson often said that, there's, when it comes to the infinite banking concept, like what level of education, what level of knowledge do you need to have before you buy a policy? It's very rudimentary. What is it, 15, 20 pages in that Nelson says, stop what you're doing, go buy a whole life insurance policy. There's not really a bad time. It's get it through your head as quickly as possible. This is the right time right now to buy a life insurance policy on yourself and go buy it. It's that simple. It's like you can figure out and gain expertise in the infinite banking concept during your journey of becoming your own banker. You're not going to get it before you buy the policy either. So somebody who's like, I want to be an expert before I buy a policy, you'll never buy a policy. It's like, just go buy the policy and then gain your expertise.
I think that's a good point. The learning curve should continue forever. And it does continue. I think that you should take the appropriate amount of time for you and your family to vet this idea, this concept thoroughly before you make a decision. But if you invest the time in learning, that's whether you participate in this idea or not is going to benefit you. I can't think of anything wrong with learning unless you're learning the wrong thing, then that's a problem. But then that's still an education, right?
Absolutely.
That's a great point. My encouragement would be to take the time, make it happen. Take the time to vet this idea thoroughly. You don't have to be an expert in life insurance by any means. And then, it's been my experience whenever we can talk about it all day long, right? Me, you, all of us, we can think about it all day long. And I have a certain level of interest, and it could be off the charts or maybe just be a modest, it's an interesting idea. If I ever got to the point where I paid a premium, my interest then goes up because I'm now putting my capital into this policy. My interest goes up.
Yeah.
I'm all of a sudden, I want to be aware of more. I want to learn the things I didn't know. I want to know what I don't know. That's just a learning process, right?
Yeah. It's kind of like using a tool before that you've never used. You kind of have to learn what the tool is and what it does. But then it's like, you have to actually use it at that point. And you can watch all the videos you want. You can, watch your favorite YouTube video of somebody taking apart a car with that tool. But it's like, you got to use it though. So you have to actually buy the tool. You have to actually use it in your own life and put it into practice.
That, that reminds me of my brother, God rest his soul. He graduated in 2017, I believe, the night after we did the only NNI event in the country that I'm aware of. I think they did test runs prior to that. Anyway, he graduated that night or the next night, but he was a craftsman. He could build a house from the ground up. He could do cabinets. He could do plumbing. He could do electric. He could do everything. He was an incredible craftsman, and he taught me the importance of a proper tool, which. If you're mechanically inclined, you use tools, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So you can, the every job has a tool, proper tool, and you either are going to learn how to use a tool or you're going to break it, or the project you're working on is not going to, it'll be subpar. But I agree with you. Properly structured, the infinite banking concept with a knowledgeable consumer and a knowledgeable coach, that's the starting point of success. And then the learning that comes after that, personally, is from application. It's from you. You'll learn how you like to handle loans. You'll learn and you'll decide what an opportunity actually looks like, because everything walking down the street saying that it's an opportunity and being promoted as an opportunity may not be an opportunity, right? But you'll learn those things, and then you'll just improve. It's so simple. Mm-hmm. I'm going to buy something and I'm going to, finance it, whether I pay cash or formally finance third-party lenders' money. I'm financing it. And whenever you can control that function, it's just extremely powerful. Anyway, I can go on, but maybe you run 5 loans, maybe you run 10 loans, maybe you run 1 policy, maybe you run 5 policies. You will learn how you like to manage your policy or your system of policies. And that comes from use.
Yeah.
So,
well, I know we've talked quite a bit about, not only IBC, but 2023. We probably need to look forward to 2024. What's coming down the pipe in 2024?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I'm sitting here aging as we talk. It's coming whether you're ready or not. So I better get ready for it, right? So 2024.
Yeah.
What's on the agenda?
I know we have not only a few client videos that are going to be coming out. So we're talking about, Mike and Lori. We have a podcast shot with them. That's going to be coming out. Eugene, his podcast is going to be coming out.
He'll be returning. He's been on before.
Yeah. And I'm also on another one other than this one that we're doing. So that'll be out there. We wanted to kind of talk about live streaming and maybe people's interest in live streaming.
We've kicked that around, the idea of doing a live stream on a quarterly basis or whatever. But we've talked about that for some time.
Yeah.
And I think we're almost at the point of having the ability to do that. Mm-hmm. But what is the interest? Do you have an interest in participating in a live stream with the Banking with Life channel? That's fair. So just let us know, if you think it might be interesting to participate.
Yeah, put it in the comments section.
Yeah. And I know Mike and Lori, I mean, they have a great story. I can't wait till that's released. And then too, the way we do this show, these episodes is, we try to have a bank, so we're not under the gun, and to stay consistent on the release. I don't know all the algorithms on social media platforms, but I do understand that consistency is rewarded in some way. Mm-hmm. So we try to remain consistent. And so like Mike and Lori, that was shot a month ago.
Yeah.
And it won't be out till January, but I can't wait for you to hear. I'm telling you, he's a pilot. They own different venues. They own real estate. They purchased a wine vineyard. These are salt of the earth people. Mm-hmm. I'm excited about them. Of course, I love Eugene. He's been on before. Like I said, he'll come back.
I'm okay.
You're okay?
I'm okay.
What? I don't even remember what we talked about. That was even before.
Yeah, I don't remember either. It's been like a month since we shot that.
Yeah, well, it's good. I think most of the work that we do is relatively good and valuable, Mm-hmm. And I know I speak slow. Look, you can speed it up. You can listen 1.5, 2 times, whatever. You can listen to it twice. You can stop and start it. And, so we have some upcoming, episodes to be released.
Yeah.
And we kicking around the idea of doing a live stream event, maybe more than one. Mm-hmm. And we would like your feedback on that. The possibility of, you participating or not, or it's a good idea, bad idea, or it'll just be one of many lost in the sea of social media. I don't know. Of course, we kind of looking back in 2023, we did the second Banking with Life client-only live event. Mm-hmm. We did it downtown Fort Worth. And so we're going to do another one. Don't have all the details, but it'll be in October. And I say client only, we kind of talked about that client only. Well, last year we allowed clients to bring a guest.
Yep.
But it was still a client. You had to be a client to bring a guest, and had great speakers there. You know, top life insurance executive who understands banking knew Nelson Nash. As a matter of fact, he was Nelson Nash's favorite home office person. I heard Nelson Nash told me that himself personally. So, of course, Ryan spoke, David Stern spoke, I spoke, and
you guys also had a really good Q&A session that you did.
Yeah, some of the comments were that was good, but it should be even longer.
And that was quite long too. It wasn't a short Q&A session. That was almost an hour long.
Was it? Well, and then we also kicked around the idea of that they had been one-day events, and we've kicked around, consider the idea of making it a day and a half or just more than one day, more than a one-day event. Yeah. So,
well, I guess the third event coming up, do you have any ideas on that at all? Like who you'd want like a guest to be? Like, because we usually have a couple of guest speakers. So,
oh, you mean at the event?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I really hadn't thought about that. I just would like ample time to convey, really what I want to convey, and have the other speakers to convey thoroughly, points or ideas. I mean, it's kind of, I'm not whining. I'm just saying it's kind of difficult. There's so much to cover, and you can only cover so much in an hour, and my two talks have been very broad, but I think good. And then I think I'd like to develop those out and get a little deeper, but that was laid out on purpose for me, touching Nelson's work and then moving forward, like last year in 2022, the changes within the industry and
big changes,
going deeper. Talked about retirement income, and I don't go far from the basics, and I don't go far from Nelson's book at all, ever. And why should I?
Yeah, and if you're just starting off with infinite banking, you shouldn't either. Any kind of agent who's trying to, anybody in general who's trying to get you to go down a route that isn't laid out by Nelson Nash, you should probably be suspect of.
I love that. I got a new idea, bolt on an improvement. And it's like, whatever. All right. So what else in 2024? Possible live stream.
Yeah.
Returning guest.
Yeah. I mean, that's the big stuff. I know. Of course, we're going to have more content to our client only access for our clients. There will be more content to that.
I think we add to that somewhere around quarterly. I mean, it's, semi-regular. I mean, we do add content. I think it's important to, that's just me and the way I think. I think that our clients are different, frankly, right? I believe they're educated. I mean, the whole team comes with our clients, and they're available to our clients, not for dependency, but for guidance, resources. And so I like, giving our clients things that only our clients get, You can frame that however you like. I think that we bring a lot of value, and I want to bring as much value that's legitimate value. I mean, to the point, and I don't want to beat it to death, but whenever you can get into a room full of 120, 130, 140 different people from all over the country that are practicing the infinite banking concept at different levels, doing different things. I don't care if it's real estate, business, retirement, whatever it is. And you can freely talk to them, and it's not a sales fest event. So, you can go there without feeling scrutinized. Walk into a room full of 120 people and talk about the infinite banking concept and the high premium that you pay, and they'll look at you like a leper. So contrast that with 130, 140 people that all pay high premiums. You're not the oddball. You're not the outsider. You're not the tinfoil hat wearer. And then there's nothing to buy except a little merch. We had a merch table, right?
Yeah.
It's not a sales fest. Anyway, I think that's a big deal. So,
well, I think, kind of wrapping up on 2024 stuff to talk about. we joked around a little bit about New Year's resolutions and, what a New Year's resolution should be. That's kind of hard, but I know I have a few that, for me personally, I have. I know.
Well, share the New Year's resolutions you have, young man, please.
Well, okay. So the first one, I'm currently in a CLU program, which is a Chartered Life Underwriters program. Getting that designation.
Well, why are you doing that?
For education, to better serve our clients. At the end of the day, I have a pretty strong basis in the infinite banking concept, and in banking and in life insurance. I'm just trying to expand that knowledge that I have.
Good. I love that. I mean, it's okay to learn. Yeah. So that's about 6 courses or 8?
This one, I believe, is 6 courses, and I think I'm halfway through.
Have they talked about banking at all in the first 3?
Not whatsoever. There was, in the first course I took, which was like an introduction into life insurance, which is funny. You're doing like an introduction to life insurance in a CLU program. But they did mention whole life a little bit. But that was with
a line or two?
Paragraph? It was a chapter. It was
a whole chapter on whole life.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I mean, that's one chapter out of 30 or 40 chapters. Yeah. And then that's all you're really talking about. It's just that one little piece of whole life insurance. It's like 3 questions on the final test. And that's pretty much as far as whole life insurance goes.
And so I'm sure they mentioned the cash value component.
They did. The sales part of it was for the cash value. And that's they didn't talk about banking, really. They really didn't.
Did they mention loans? I know they didn't use the word banking.
They did mention that loans, you have a contractual right to loans. And
so that was like, how many sentences in this chapter?
Oh, yeah, that's 1 sentence in a chapter.
Yeah. The point is there's next to zero. No, yeah. There's zero education within the industry and all the financial designations about controlling the banking function. So, yeah. But okay, so your New Year's resolution is to complete that or continue?
Continue on with it. Keep knocking it out of the park. I'll finish it up this year. So started early last year in 2023. I'll finish it up in 2024 and then probably go on to CHFC and try to get that designation as well.
CHFC, Chartered Financial Consultant.
Yes, sir.
Which is another life insurance industry designation.
Yes, sir.
Multi-parts. And so, that's good. I'm proud of you, and I've got nothing but encouragement for you to do that. I know the affiliations, designations that I participated in throughout my career, I did it. I wanted to know, I mean, I've always suffered and still do from FOMO, right? So I wanted to know. And secondarily, though, I really wanted my clients to be able to pick up on the fact that I'm a student, and I participate in my profession. So perfect.
Yeah, I wanted that same kind of, I didn't go the college route. Just didn't feel like it was right for me. Or I'm not going to get into college and my feelings on that for everyone. But for me, I didn't feel like it was right. So I do and have always been a big reader. And this was just another way to really provide service for the clients. It's like, hey, I'm a more educated, agent than most of the agents that you're talking to because I have these designations. And I mean, that's all it really is for that. I mean, it's just, I'm a young guy, and being a young guy in this industry, I don't have the same experience and knowledge that James Neathery has. Not saying you're an older guy, just saying, you have experience.
I've been around.
you have experience and knowledge that I don't have. And so I'm trying to get on your level. That's not easy. It's going to take a while to get there. That's a pretty big shadow you cast, man. So,
well, I appreciate that. I met Nelson when I was 42, I believe. So, you're younger than that. So you've got a long life ahead, and that's good. And I think there at some level it gives you confidence, whether what you're learning you agree with or disagree with. You get the perspective from the industry, and but it gave me confidence. I went through a ton of courses, and I don't have a college degree either, and I'm not going to get one. And a couple of those designations require a bachelor's. Well, I'm never going to have one, and I'm okay with that. But the confidence in knowing, is good.
Yeah. And it's the continuing education as well.
Yeah.
It's showing clients that you're continuing to educate yourself. You're not, just resting on your laurels. You're not surviving out here. You're thriving.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, there's a lot of things that Nelson talks about as well. Parkinson's, law, you don't want to suffer from that. Always beat it out. You don't want to have the arrival syndrome either. That's probably the biggest motivator for why I did the CLU is the arrival syndrome, trying to shuck that off. And you can't be like that. You can't, get to a place where you know everything, or you even think you know everything, or I think that's the most dangerous part for like new agents as well, calling yourself an expert. I mean, not only in the fact that you can harm your clients because they actually might think you're an expert and you're not one, but more for yourself. You keep calling yourself an expert over and over and over, you may actually believe it. And it's like, you're not. So it's okay to...
That's well said, sir.
Yeah.
I know Nelson and I, we had several conversations on this CLU because he had one. Mm-hmm. And he used to say he put it facing in the back of his closet, facing the wall, until he had correspondence with the home office or other industry, people. It was funny.
Well, I'm not going to put the initials next to my name. You're not going to, you'll I won't say you'll never. You'll more than likely not see me, Jake Neathery, CLU, CHFC, CFP, all the designations and stuff like that. Not to diminish or beat down people who do that. It's not what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to diminish anyone for learning their education and whatever level of professionalism they have achieved in their profession. Yeah. No disrespect whatsoever. I mean, I've got mad props for people who display the discipline to achieve the things that they want to achieve. So no disrespect.
Yeah.
What else? What else is on your
resolutions list? The other one was slow down, smell the roses. And that's, I think as a young man, that's very difficult to do, is slow down. And
it doesn't get easier.
Yeah, I bet. Especially if you've lived a whole life going, 100 miles an hour, it's kind of hard to slow down. So I figure at 32, like start slowing down now, and it'll be, easier to enjoy life in the future.
Yeah, see, to me, it's like 32. Pour it on, brother. I mean,
no, I get it. I get it.
Jeez.
Yeah. I mean, there's a little bit of balance to it, right?
Absolutely.
You got to keep going. You can't ever stop and, get mired down in just the minutia of every day. But at the same time, you don't want to go so fast that you can't enjoy, everything that's around you. And, what is it? Tough times don't last, but tough people do. So I like that. I've always liked that. So, it's like, even in tough times, it's okay to slow down and, appreciate the good things that you still have.
Mm-hmm. What else?
That's for my New Year's resolutions. That's really it. I mean, I always have the outstanding resolution of getting in better shape, eating better, sleeping better, getting, working out more, educating yourself, continue reading, I mean, I always have those kind of resolutions. But those are the two ones that really stick out to me.
Mine are pretty similar. I sure don't have the need, the desire, or the ability to encourage people to make New Year's resolutions, or what they may or may not be. That's not my place at all. I quit making New Year resolutions some time ago, because kind of what you spoke to. It's the daily disciplines. The eating, the sleeping, the drinking, the water, the working out. Mm-hmm. Doing the right thing, the next right thing, and showing up, doing what you say, and saying what you mean. Just really the self disciplines on a daily basis. The cumulative effect of that is success, where I believe, and I'm a student of Jim Rohn. We all suffer the pain of two losses, either the pain of regret or we all suffer from two pains, either the pain of regret or the pain of discipline. Mm-hmm. And I would prefer to suffer from the pain of discipline. I don't have too much discipline. I don't have any additional or extra discipline, but that's where my focus is. And then the work-life balance has always been a challenge for me. And so those are even daily decisions quite often. But I am going to pay more premium, and I am going to currently expanding my banking system. And until, as I said earlier, there's going to come a point in time in all of our lives where we cannot buy life insurance. And I'm not going to sit around and wait for that to happen. I mean, somebody's going to have to tell me no and prove to me why I can't, and prove to me that I can't. Until then, I'm buying life insurance, Yeah. So, I am going to expand my system. And then, here over the last year, 2023, we have started like coaching or interacting, working with more agents. I'm not an agency builder. That's not what we do. We get up and provide service for our clients every day, and then encourage the idea that you can become your own banker, and you should discover that or vet it or get exposed to that idea. I mean, that's what drives me every day is, service to our clients, and then expanding the frontiers of knowledge when it comes to the infinite banking concept. However, it just seems like in the last year, more so than previous years, and agents call all the time, and I try to help everyone that I can help, right? At least I make that effort, and I can't help everyone. But we have been working with more agents, and I expect it's not really a New Year's resolution, but if I were to apply any disciplines to that, would be to be better, help them be better, in their learning and in their experience. That's probably going to consume more and more of my time.
Yeah.
Without being an agency builder. So I don't want to be an agency builder. But then, also really, I like expanding relationships. I'm a people person. I like meeting new people. So if I haven't met you, I'm looking forward to the opportunity to meet you. Mm-hmm. And then I'm very grateful, So last year, I thought to myself, Neathery, you should practice more grace. So that will probably, I'm still focused on that, or that's still a relevant, a worthy goal is to be more graceful. I mean, I think I'm a pretty nice guy, but sometimes I come across harshly or opinionated or whatever. But that's really all I've got, as far as New Year's resolutions. I'd rather focus on the daily disciplines and be aware of, my own personal shortcomings and focus on improving them.
Right.
So.
No, I think that's fantastic. Having, the New Year's resolution, or maybe just a goal to allow people to have more grace, give grace to others. I mean, that's something I think everyone suffers from. I don't know of anybody that's, got that one down yet.
Well, I know, I don't know. I sure don't know. I know I could use more and give more. So, no, we did a little prep. It's not like we sat around an hour and a half prepping for this, but we did jot down some notes that were interesting points and some interesting data.
I mean, I think we hit everything other than any other encouragements that we want to give to the clients for the New Year's. I mean, I think obviously pay your premiums. That's a big one. If you don't have a plan, like for your loans and paying back your loans, make some sort of loan repayment. Whether it's, $10 or $100, $1,000. If you don't have a plan for that loan repayment, at least, be making those loans, some sort of loan contribution back. Be a good banker. Don't steal the peace, pay your premiums, but also, have a plan for the loans. Now I understand, sometimes it's one of those things where you have the plan to take out a loan, and not make a loan repayment for a time period. Like that can make sense in certain situations and circumstances. But at the end of the day, I mean, there has to be a plan that at some point that loan gets paid back, unless we're purposely using it for passive income in retirement, or however you want to call that, passive income stages.
Yeah, I agree. That made me think of Nelson's 4 fundamentals. I love simplicity. I believe it's a virtue. Number 1, think long range. Number 2 is don't be afraid to capitalize. Don't be afraid to pay a premium. Number 3 is don't steal the peas. Be an honest banker. You're exactly right. And if your thinking is flawed in the beginning, it is likely to continue to be flawed until it's corrected, right? So if I'm not willing to think long term, well, of course I'm afraid to capitalize, right? I mean, of course I am. Then if I'm afraid to capitalize, then of course I'm not going to repay my loans for whatever, life comes along, problems come, unintended, unforeseen circumstances, whatever they may be. It's very easy for me to not pay a premium. It's very easy for me to think short term. It's very easy for me to reduce a premium. It's very easy for me to not make a loan repayment, not make interest only payments. I mean, those are natural, undisciplined activities. Right. And it's just an expansion of flawed thinking, in my opinion. And so really the fourth one was don't do business with banks, outside of checking and saving. And then he added the fifth one, rethink your thinking. I think that's a continual thing. And you mentioned Parkinson's law earlier. Yeah. Parkinson, you have to whip that guy every day.
Yeah.
He shows Constant up every day. Yeah. And so while you're in there, you're talking about, you mentioned tough people, tough times. What was that?
Yeah. So tough times don't last, but tough people do.
Yeah. So when do you want to quit applying discipline?
Never.
So that's my encouragement, just along with you. Practice the infinite banking concept honestly, and don't get far from the 4 fundamentals, because the premium is a solution. Right. And if I get into passive income time and I want to take passive income, Nelson had all of his loans repaid before he, quote unquote, retired. He never did retire. He moved off into passive income, and he still didn't take income from his policies because he didn't need it, because he was so dang successful. Right. And then I'm just saying that I've got nothing but encouragement, to live free. Number one, but you can't be free if you're not financially free, and you can't be financially free unless you control the banking function. And the infinite banking concept is the best way that I know of to control the banking function.
Yeah.
And the disciplines, oh my gosh, they're daily. It's like you said, just make a loan repayment. Think big. All right. I get that if you can only pay $10, whatever, you start where you're at, but stretch yourself. You can quit at any time. All right. Anyway. Yeah. I've got nothing but encouragement. All right. Which is live free. All right. Be free. I'm good. Anything else?
No, I love that. Think free. Think as a free person. That's what a game changer. If you're listening to this podcast, you're probably already there. Not too many people probably watching this podcast that aren't free thinkers.
That's true.
But if you're not there yet, just continue on your journey of, expanding your freedoms, not only like in your personal life, whether that's, practicing your First and Second Amendment rights, whatever it happens to be, just continue your education, continue the expansion of freedom, not only in your life, but your families. That's a big encouragement as well.
Yeah, be the example, right?
Yeah.
Not the warning.
That's something that people ask me all the time, Jake. Like, how do I get my family members and my friends to do the infinite banking concept? You don't, but you can show them what a successful person looks like while using the infinite banking concept. And I'll tell you, that'll draw more people to you than anything. I have people who will ask me like, well, what are you doing? You're, young, you're successful. What do you do? And it's like, yeah, I practice the infinite banking concept, and it drives people to what you do. Like, show people, don't tell people, don't, force them to, read a bunch of books, show them what you're doing. That's the best way in my opinion.
I like that. that's a conversation that I've had many times over the years. It's like, well, I don't have a need to borrow. I don't finance this or I don't finance that. I pay cash, which, okay, it's still financing. Mm-hmm. But, I've got clients that they pay premium for a year, 2 years, 3 years more. I don't know however many. And they're like, James, I quit looking for the magic. I don't have a driving need to go get a loan just because I can. And I love what the policy's doing. It is okay to pay a premium. Mm-hmm. So. Cool. All right. Well, that's all I had. You have more?
No, I think that wraps it up.
Okay. Thanks for listening. We enjoyed. Happy New Year.
Thank you for joining us on the Banking with Life podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe and click on that little notification bell. Otherwise, join us on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher for weekly content.